To unpack this conversation a bit more further, we're now joined by Executive Manager of WaterCan, Ferrial Adam, and she joins us now via our video link. Ferrial, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. I mean, we have seen that water has been disrupted in many parts of the province, as well as one would say in the northwest as well. When it comes to, the impact of this maintenance project, just tell us more about that.
Good evening, Mbali, and to your viewers. I think that, Karen mentioned it, that when you have water, people are less concerned, but when you don't have it, then there's a little bit more of a, anger, frustration, all the kind of emotions that have been felt on the ground. So the maintenance, as we know, is very needed. It's at Rand Water side, and they're dealing with the 4 big systems, their water systems, to improve their systems so that they can have better flow to the municipalities across Gauteng, you're right. In Johannesburg specifically, this has created more of a concern because many of the reservoirs have been affected by the maintenance, and this has only been the beginning. And there are many areas where reservoirs are not, they're almost empty, and people have not had water for a number of days. So that has been a huge challenge in specifically the city of Joburg.
And Ferrial, I mean, we do all understand that, maintenance needs to happen so that, for the long term, we ensure that water does indeed come out of our taps. What do you make of this now even spilling over to various municipalities as well as, other provinces as well, the access to water during this time?
I think that, in some other areas like Northwest that you mentioned, I think those are different systems altogether. But Rand Water does supply 4 provinces. And part of the maintenance that they're doing is not only in Gauteng, it does reach out to those other areas, and they will also similarly either have reduced flow or some areas will be affected with no flow. And this is supposed to continue for quite some time.
And what makes this maintenance so important so that residents can understand why is it that they find themselves frustrated and stranded because water is not coming out of their taps?
So that is the challenge, because one of the things is that we need to understand that Rand Water is your bulk supplier. So they, as described by Karen Bosman, that they will abstract the water, they will clean it, and then they sell it to the municipalities. And a lot of people are confusing Joburg Water and Rand Water and the different entities because they're saying, okay, so after this maintenance, everything should be fine in the city of Joburg or in the municipality where they get fed from a particular, Rand Water feeds water to them. The challenge, though, is that Joburg Water's infrastructure and the pipes that feed residents also needs maintenance, and that is a long way off of where we want it to be. Johannesburg Water, for example, in Bali, has about 12,000 kilometers of water pipes and 11,000 kilometers of sewage pipes that all need to be maintained. So it's a different maintenance. Rand Water's ability will improve, but we need to make sure that at a municipal level, across the provinces, we need to make sure that those services are improved.
And talking about municipalities, I mean, when it comes to the city of Johannesburg, they knew about this maintenance and, they communicated that they will be providing alternatives to residents, especially those who can't afford to be buying water. From your observation, has the municipality kept its promise when it comes to providing water tankers and JoJo tanks to various departments to ensure that people have access to water?
So in some instances they did, and I think what has happened is they didn't expect that some of the systems would go down so quickly, so they weren't able to respond fast enough. They also then had to get more tanks, water tankers, so I think it increased to about 90, and they increased JoJo tanks to about 300. But this was not sufficient given the extent of the amount of areas that were hit by no water. The other challenge that was, people were complaining about is that water tanks would finish in an area, and by the time they got to some other parts of the municipality, it was 9 o'clock at night, when people are already getting ready for bed and not going out to get water. So those areas were completely missed. So there has to be much better planning if this is going to happen in the future, to actually look at a proper management plan of how to roll out water in water tanks as well as JoJo tanks, so that people do not have the situation that they had right now.
And talking about the future, Ferrial, I mean, we also know that there will be maintenance for the Lesotho Highlands water project that also supplies water to Gauteng. I mean, if we are on this path already, what does this say about the 3 months we have been told that, that specific project will be under maintenance?
So I'm hoping, that then falls under Rand Water, and I'm hoping that this maintenance would assist them to deal with storage for the Lesotho Highlands project. But I think we also, civil society and various sectors are in discussions with the Department of Water and Sanitation to say that we need to make sure that we have better planning for Lesotho Highlands, because they're saying that City of Joburg will not be affected. But now people are nervous, and we can understand why.
All right, I can tell you that I'm also one of those residents who are really nervous because, 3 months is a very long time when it comes to maintenance for that pipeline. Ferrial, thank you so much for your time here in SABC News. That's Ferrial Adam. She is the Executive Manager for WaterCan.